Another big piece of news is SBS. The volume just came out, right? It was censored, but it came out. And we got a new SBS. And this one, just from the few things I even saw, has a bunch of big news. And this isn't even the thing that Oda promised to answer questions to. So there's going to be more. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something big. Something big, probably, hopefully. All right, so the first one. This is from Pew Piece, who I'm still not going to follow for spoilers' sake. I think they post spoilers. Reader. In chapter 1103, Luffy was so hungry and cannot move, but in chapter 1106, he became full. Who was it who gave Luffy food? Oda. In chapter 1103, Luffy started to wolf down food. When Luffy said food, who was it that responded? Was it Sanji or Frankie, who was present near him? Kizaru and Sentomaru were also there. Whoever did it never got exposed, it seems. That action seemed to be done in the speed of light. Even the naked eye can't see it. Even I don't know who did it. The speed of light. It's Kizaru. So it was Kizaru. Surely this isn't a ha. Sanji is moving at the speed of sound, or rather speed of light. It actually was Kizaru. That's really, really cool. What most of us expected? I do think most people expected him to flip, yes. I do think that was a generally held belief. But in the end, there didn't really seem to be any sort of like through line to that. You know, like we saw the poor man break down, and it seemed like he was conflicted, but that he didn't actually ever do anything to help the Straw Hats. But he did. He did. It happened. So now, the only thing I need to bring up is my conspiracy board, because when is he gonna flip completely? Bro Salino? Yes. So when will he flip completely and realize that he actually needs to fight for this little man right here? And for this little man right here? When is that gonna happen? I don't know. I don't know. But he has flipped. So he's a good dude. Straight from the man's mouth. I am very interested in the fact that Oda never made it more explicit, though. That is genuinely kind of interesting that he just answered it in the SBS. Maybe he just thought that people would like assume it and would go with it, but I feel like One Piece fans nowadays are kind of like, you need to show it to me explicitly, or we will always repeat the fact that, what if it isn't? You know? Because I do think basically everyone expected for Bro Salino to eventually flip. Did it happen before or after he killed Vegapunk? If it was before, he was hoping for them to actually save him. I don't remember the exact... I feel like it was right at the start. So it must have been probably... Might have been after, but I don't know. I don't know. Whatever the case, like the scene of him breaking down, obviously he is very, very, very conflicted. And he seems to be sick of this, you know? Whether or not he will eventually get over the fact that, you know, as he himself said, he's just a gear in the system. Who knows? Kizaru joining the revolution would be interesting. Each of the OG admirals in a different faction. I do think Oda is doing something with that. Yes, the fact that we have basically all the admirals like sort of breaking off in splinter groups and doing their own little thing, like with Blackbeard obviously being the biggest one. It is interesting. Yes. I don't want him to break off. I mean, I think it really depends on how this entire final conflict is gonna look like. He could be like just a... He doesn't necessarily have to be Luffy's ally, you know? He could still be fighting Luffy, but he could also be fighting the world government. He could just be on the side of the people, right? The only thing in that is that Luffy is on the side of the people, right? Like, exactly as we saw in Egghead, you know? And that's why he eventually ended up helping him. So, I don't know. I do think that the exploration of the admirals recently has been really, really cool, though. Similar role as Smoker or Garp during Marineford. I think Garp is a closer example, yes. I think Garp is probably like a very, very close example of that. Because Garp was even more, like, reserved, right? Garp never did anything. In this case, Kizaru actually did something. And Smoker went full-blown ally with Luffy. Which, by the way, where is Smoker? We did get a cover art of him pretty recently. He was dragging like the safe, right? And we thought it might be a devil fruit of some sort. Yeah, he was going with the crate. I remember. I remember. All right, moving on. New information about the Sword members has been revealed. Reader, I really love the Sword members, so I want to know their age and profile. Does Drake belong to the same class year as Kujaku and Prince? Parentheses, Gruss, also known as Sus. Full transparency, I basically, the Sword faction, like, I'm gonna be real. If you're talking about blind spots in One Piece, this Sword faction is my biggest blind spot. Most of the time, I don't even think about them. And I know I should think about them because they're like a whole separate group from the Marines and also from the Pirates. But like Kobe is obviously a ally of Luffy in a weird way, but he is also... This is a faction I just don't think about. And I need to think about them. It's difficult to point out what exactly you want to know about their profile, but I can give you their ages and heights and such. For more detailed information, it's written on the Viva card, One Piece Visual Dictionary. Good plug, Oda. I won't say something mean as, I want you to buy those. Oh. So it's not a plug. Okay, nice guy, Oda. One Piece Visual Dictionary. I already read that. I won't write it on here, SBS, but physically speaking, the information written there is much better. Don't get me wrong, since you asked for it, I will answer. Here you go. So, I guess none of this is actually new. God damn it, Colby is taller than me. Why does this always happen? Even Colby is taller than me. And even she is taller than me. For the first time in the story, you have characters who are actually human-sized. And they're still taller than me. I got my height measured very accurately. I am 162. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Maybe you haven't finished growing. I haven't gotten taller since I was 12. And I'm not joking. I've literally been the same size, the same weight, the same width. Everything has been the same since I was like 12. I don't know how that happened, but here we are. For context, I'm 23. Wait, am I 23? No way, I'm 22. And then there's freaking Drake, 233. Short king since 12, yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate. You know how usually like there's the meme of everyone in like grade 6 suddenly starts to grow extremely fast, and like there's the period where the girls are usually taller than the guys, and then suddenly the guys are the taller. That didn't happen. Anyway, my weird height insecurities aside, although Kujiku and Gruss is a junior of Drake, but their relationship is already like the same class. Also, I've been asked many times if Gruss is a prince from what country, but actually he wasn't. He's just a rich person. Jinbei's bad and good future has been revealed. So Oda has done like the good bad futures for everyone, and Jinbei wasn't a part of the crew yet. What will happen to Jinbei after 20 and 40 years? Jinbei is 46 years old right now, so let's see. He will be looking at in his 60s and 80s. Top, age 60, that's enough. Don't go after them. We're equal, so this is one right here. And 80, you've grown so much. Very wholesome, dude. And the bad futures is I will kill all humans, and 80 is I will drag you down to the sea floor. It's kind of bad, I think. I think that's kind of bad Jinbei energy. Jinbei could never have a bad future. I'm gonna be real with you. There are a bunch of characters who I think like maybe some bad things could happen to them. When I look at Jinbei, I just think he's a good guy. I don't think Jinbei could ever be a bad guy. He's just like a... What was it? Was it Egghead? Where he had like the dad shirt? Yeah, there it is. Literally right now. He was wearing the little shirt. This shirt went hard. I can never see a single bad thing happening to Jinbei. Look at how happy he is. Look at him. Look at him. You really think Jinbei could have a bad future? Of course not. My favorite Egghead fit. I do think like out of the Egghead crew's outfits, Jinbei was the best one. Cause like Jinbei goes hard. Okay, Chopper as usual is just very cute. Nami is alright, I guess. Zoro looks cringe, and I don't know why he has noodle legs. Like, bro, not only... Bro, did he go on a diet? What happened? Why is he so skinny? Luffy is just Luffy. Sanji looks alright. Sanji looks like he's just on the beach, but not really. Usopp is kind of bad. Like, the color, I don't know, it's kind of bad. Robin's alright, and Brook is kind of bad. These are like, Luffy also lost. Yeah, Luffy is another one. Like, Luffy was flexing big time. Luffy, Wano, sumo fight. I mean, to be fair, like, if you look at a scene like this and literally the next scene right beside it, I think his mass also fluctuates a lot. But there are some of the scenes where, like, he flexes and he's like, look at him. Like, bro is built different. Look at him. So I don't know what's happening there. Anyway, Jinbei is never gonna have a bad future. Moving on. Oda reveals the reason he... I read this. I already read this. Okay. The reason why Luffy keeps his clothes on while he turns into his giant form. I've been counting... Okay. Get ready for this. Get ready. This is gonna be a journey, okay? This is gonna be a real journey. I've been counting certain words that Oda used in the SBS from Volume 4 up to Volume 106. Here's the result. Poop and poo 13 times. Boobs, big boobs, chest, etc. 19 times. Penis, willy, donk, etc. 36 times. What the heck exactly is the SBS? I think at this point Oda was just like, okay. You might have a point. You might have a point. Okay, well, are you for real? I really don't remember it too well. If there's anyone who said these, it's Sanada, I guess. Sanada? I don't know. Sanada? I guess. I don't know. My ideal SBS that I've thought of is like a quiet forest with sunlight filtering through the trees. A clean space filled with little birds and squirrels that's playing around. That's why... Please don't count these kinds of things anymore. Or rather again. Oh, here's a postcard from a kid. The age is not written. Is it from a middle schooler? Well then, please ask your question. Hello, Oda-sensei. In Chapter 1045 of Volume 103, Luffy used a technique called Gomu Gomu no Giant. Gigant, I don't know. But how did his clothes and even his sandals got gigantic too? Please tell us. Okay. Listen well here, Yuma-kun, name of the center. If Luffy's clothes get ripped off when he gigantifies, his dick is gonna come out. Imagine actually sitting there and writing this stuff down like 100% seriously. You know what? Someone needs to like keep a spreadsheet of all these words now. Someone needs to do specific analysis of the things Oda says and how often he says them. This is beyond cursed. Let's move on. Let's move on. The past of Admiral Rio and Fujitora has been released. Reader, Odachi, Garchu, please tell me, please tell us the former occupations of Fujitora and this guy, before they became Marine Admirals. Alright, just that they became the ones in charge of, I read that as DNS. This looks like a D, but so no. Ones in charge of the defense of the affiliated nations of the world, to the world government, through the system called World Military Draft. These two were handpicked by the Marines. So this is this guy right here. Aramaki hails from the South Blue. He was a police officer from the Taya Kingdom and caused a great incident involving a woman and got thrown into prison. Doesn't sound particularly great. His reputation of possessing extraordinary strength reached the government. He got drafted into the Marines and immediately got a special promotion to Admiral. Interesting. To be fair, he's not very cool, so I'm not surprised. He's not very cool. Now, Fujitora, that's what I'm curious about. Fujitora. Isho hails from the West Blue. He incurred losses on a gambling house in Twin Snake Island, and the place he was working as a bodyguard was bought by the world government with a large sum of money. Isho was a former defense military chief in the Aoi, I guess, Blue Kingdom that once existed in the Grand Line. The Aoi Kingdom was destroyed because the war, and he became a significant war criminal. The world government will eventually be made aware of this fact. Huh? Isn't that kind of important? So he was a defense military chief in a kingdom, and then a war happened, and he became a significant war criminal, and the world government will eventually be made aware of this fact. Isn't that kind of like a very, very big lore that we don't know about? Why is it in the SBS? I've got no idea what the implications of this might be. Is this where he lost his eyes? Maybe. Maybe. Did he see very, very bad things? How does Morgans not know about this? Good question. Because this is like an actual war. Hold on, you know what? Now I just want to go to his wiki. Just to like refresh my knowledge of what we know and what we don't know. I don't think we know anything about why he like slashed his eyes, right? I don't think that has ever been revealed. Fujitora is a virtuous and benevolent man who put great emphasis on doing the right thing while preventing misfortune for others. He detests evil to such a strong degree that he blinded himself on purpose, inflicting damage on his eyes out of sorrow for all the evil he had seen. So, you know what this kind of seems like to me? This seems like to me that he might have once been a very, very, very bad dude, aka a war criminal, and then he changed his ways, and that's when he became like a very chill dude. This might be like a Uncle Iroh situation, because I just assumed that like he might have been forced to do things that are like, you know, bad, evil, yada yada, but not an actual war criminal. You know, I can see the whole line of thinking that, you know, like justice is so hard, yada yada, that like he just cut his eyes. Sure, but he's a war criminal. I'm starting to think that he cut his eyes because of the things he did. Could also mean that he was branded as such for being on the losing side. True, but I do think like it's not just a notable figure in a war. I do think war criminal, that implies something much, much darker, you know? I think there might have been a situation where, so he was a defense, yeah, so he was a defense military chief. I think something really, really bad happened there. Then he went all out, like he did really, really bad things in order to protect the kingdom. But the kingdom was obviously destroyed, right? And because of like the death he caused while trying to protect it, I think that's why he slashed his eyes. So I do think he did things that might constitute the title of a war criminal because he went overboard. The only very like interesting thing to me is the 7 warlords, because you know how we got a new warlord through Ace, right? Wait, was it through Ace? Who was the warlord that was introduced? Literally like okay, so I'm remembering it correctly. Yes. So Ace defeated a warlord and was offered the position. Yes. That's what I remember. Yes. So I'm starting to think that that might have something to do with this. I do think there is a universe where this ex-warlord has something to do with Fujitora and why he wants to abolish the warlord system, right? Because this whole thing about abolishing the warlord system was the fact that you shouldn't give like power to pirates, right? So I do think there might be something with that. He was about to drop a meteor on Marie Joie, so that tracks. Exactly. I do think he just went like super overboard and probably killed a lot of people accidentally, and then he was like, hey yo, not good, and then he blinded himself because of the horrors he had seen. I wouldn't even be surprised if Oda goes like all in and he had like a family or something, and then he saw his family under a big rock. That'd be pretty bad. Yeah, but that's really, really interesting. That is really, really interesting. My current bet is the fact that it's probably like the warlord that we've heard of, and there might have been, but that doesn't really make sense. I was about to say maybe he became a warlord through this war that happened on this kingdom, but that doesn't really make sense because why would he get an invitation to the warlords for like literally waging a war? I just think it's really interesting that we were coincidentally introduced to a new warlord, and he still wants to abolish the warlords, and now we have this little connection bit here of a war. That scene in Dressrosa was really, really wholesome, yeah. I don't think like he has some kind of like, I think the Fujitora we are seeing right now, the one that is like actually at peace and has this like very, I think the article here used like the word benevolent. If like, I think this is the real Fujitora. I don't think there's like any kind of thing where he's hiding the secret where he became a war criminal. I think that is the past that made him into this guy. So I do think like the whole I wish I got to see you smile yada yada, I don't think there's a dark secret with him. I think he's a good guy. So there are a bunch of like design questions. I won't really go through those. But this is one. Designer behind the Gorosei clothes has been revealed. The suits that the 5 elders are always wearing are the high-branded designer clothes. Is there a shop in Marie Joie that specifically caters to them? Please tell us about the clothes designer too. Ah, his name is this. A play on Giorno Armani. LOL. A designer of clothes specialist. A designer clothes specialist who hails from the leather boots kingdom in the East Blue. Only the 5 elders are allowed to wear his special clothes. So now we know. In situations like this, I just have to stop and think how ridiculous this actually is. Can you think of many other authors who will actually, in 100% seriousness, answer who makes the clothes of characters? This is so glorious. So now we know where they got their suits from. Glorious. Incredible. And this. So this is about the vice admirals who were on Egghead. Now these are names that I constantly forget, right? So this could be like a good piece of lore for me, because I'll always forget about them. But I'm gonna forget about them anyway. Oda Sensei, among the 9 vice admirals that went to Egghead, there's one that looks similar to Rear Admiral Kadar, who appeared in Fishman Island. Past flashback. Did he get promoted? Also, please tell us. By the way, I will never live this down. Yes, these admirals, sometimes they appear and they get promoted. Yes, apparently Akainu is in the anime flashback in Eni's lobby. No, I did not catch it. I will never live this down. So yes, some of these they do get promoted off screen and then just show up again. Sort of like Lucci, I guess, which is funny. Please tell us the profiles of the other vice admirals. Oda, you're referring to the Hound, right? It's true that he looks like Kadar, but they are different persons. Please forgive me for the rough sketches, but with the exception of Vice Admiral Doberman, who was introduced in the past, here are the profiles of the other 8 Vice Admirals. I will instantly forget about them. I will, but let's read through them. Vice Admiral Pomsky. He ate the Raku Nomi, otter fruit, and became a sea otter human. He strikes a powerful attack with a seashell. Incredible. Vice Admiral Dahl, martial artist with a rock and... I was about to say rock and stone. With a rock and stone soul, with a rock and roll soul. Yes, that you can tell that by the choker, by the way. If you did realize, that's why the choker's there. That's why. A Vice Admiral Tossa. He can bite with his hand. Earth T fist style user. Incredible. TL note. Tossa-ken, I guess. Earth T fist is a play on Tossa dog breed. I don't know. Tossa is the Japanese fighting dog breed that Tossa's name is most likely based on, which follows the canine naming theme of some vice admirals. Okay, nice. I want to look up this dog breed. It's an alright dog. It's an alright dog. Okay. Vice Admiral Urban. He ate the Tsutsunomi cannon fruit and became a artillery human. The top of his head, look at the top of his head, became a cannon. Nice. Vice Admiral Bluegrass. She ate the Nori Nomi ride fruit and became a piloting human. She can turn any living thing or object within her hockey range into her vehicles. She's like an older sister to Great Staff Officer Tsuru. That is a very weird power. Vice Admiral Hound. He ate the Inu Nomi model hound. This is another dog. He's on the same class year with Smoker. Nice. Vice Admiral Red King. He punches with a steam engine powered right knuckle. That's all he does. He just punches. Vice Admiral Guillotine. The blade on his head can be thrown like a boomerang. Incredible. Incredible. I am sorry to say, I will forget about all of them. I will. The one that can turn anything into like a flying thing, that's a bit out there, but you know. Even Doll. I think we've seen Doll like a number of times now. I think that's why I recognize her. But I always forget like what's her deal. And I also remember this guy right here, the chin guy. The chin guy is very memorable. All the others not so much. I'm really bad with names and faces. I'm so bad with that. There was I think like a Yamato design thing. I mean, this is just like a cute little drawing. About Yamato who ate a devil fruit because of hunger. What did the child Yamato's beast form and human beast beast form look like? And he just drew like a little cute illustration. Very nice. Names of each elbow from the Longarm tribe have been revealed. LMAO. The Longarm tribe has 2 elbows in 1 arm, right? Does each of these elbows have their own terms? Wow, that is a wonderful question. You know what this is? This is literally that freaking like the close-up on what's his name? I completely forget his name. Completely forget his name. But the thing of I didn't think of that, you know, like let me just bring up the meme. Kinemon, yes, this right here. This is literally Oda's live reaction. Like, do they have, because like theoretically, like you would assume that it only makes sense if you have 2 elbows. Like this is an elbow. What if I had an extra one? It would have a different name, right? Because it's not a singular elbow. Now there'll be 2 of them. They need separate names. And Oda is just like, wonderful question. Meanwhile, this is Oda right now. I'm very moved. Yes, of course they of course they have their different names. The elbow closer to the hand is called the friend elbow. The elbow that is closer to the shoulder is called the love elbow. This seems to represent the emotional distance between you and your significant other. This is excellent. I love this. I'm glad I read this. But that said, I think that's it for all the SBS. I think we went through all of it. That's just him yapping some BS. I mean, the fact that he writes it like, this seems to represent the emotional distance between you and your significant other. It's just literally just like, what did we call it before the 1600s? I think before the 1600s, medicine was not that great and people didn't really worry about how to call certain body parts. Like straight up. I think people just said arm and that's it. I'm sure there are a lot of different things that just don't have a specific, like for example, in the Latvian language, there isn't a word for a nephew. I remember I was trying to translate this because I was thinking about like Uncle Iroh and Zuko. There is not a word in the Latvian language for nephew. It just doesn't exist. I don't know why. Like the only way you can describe it is like what would it be like? Your brother's son, and you're the uncle, and then he's your nephew, but there is no word for nephew. I don't know why. It just doesn't exist. It's the same thing with an elbow. They just didn't know what an elbow was. All right, but about this, I lost it. What I was gonna say, Fujitora, he's gonna be important. He's gonna be real important. Big importance. KIZARU reveal. The KIZARU reveal is big. It's big. And whenever we talk about the Longarm tribe, by the way, I think of these guys, right? I think of these guys up here, and then I think about them in the context of this. Right? What's up with the summoning ritual and an actual summoning ritual? What's the deal with that? How did that happen? That seems like a bit of a coincidence. How did they do that? I don't know. And then you sometimes think about the straw hat in Marie Joie. A lot of weird things. A lot of weird things. A lot of weird things we'll never know. A lot of weird things. But that's the SBS.